welcome to another episode of the Gone Gold podcast with me, Simon Hill, and what a fantastic episode we had last week. One of the most insightful interviews I think I've ever conducted. After this episode, I would definitely advise you go and check it out if you haven't already. And also, whilst you're here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and keep sharing, liking, following across all of social media at Simon H Official. Let's get straight into this episode. This is with someone who I've known since I started at TNT Extreme Wrestling. One of the brightest prospects to come out of the Northwest Division. And he's got such heart, great character, huge charisma, a massive ball of energy. We talk about his time training with Zack Gibson and James Drake at Fighting Spirit, his tag team with his best friend, and so much more. It's a really cool, down-to-earth interview, and you're not going to want to miss it. It's Kameron Solas, and it's here right now. Solas, thank you so much for joining me on the Gone Gold podcast. This has been like a couple of months in the making, almost. We've tried this a few times, and finally, we've got you on. So thanks for joining me.
Perfect. Sound. Love it. Amazing. Beautiful. All the words that are positive.
Let's get into things. So obviously, you know, born and bred in Liverpool, you're working for a lot of local promotions, you're branching out a little bit now as well. You're on a roll as well up until, you know, lockdown life.
I know.
Talk to me.
Just that's just the pinnacle. That's
mate.
That's just me. Like, I finally start getting going and just. It's just, it's not. It can only happen.
Well, you know, if nothing else, mate, when all this goes away, you can build that momentum back up. But I want to go back to 2014, which is when you started wrestling. I want to go through the journey, where you began, how you began, and man, let's light this up. Let's sell Kameron Solas right here, right now. Let's do it. Where did you start?
The first 2.5 years was kind of very, very bumpy. Like, did I really start in 2014 or didn't I? Like, the first time I got in a ring was 2014. And there was a place, like an academy where you could train, but it just, you can only get so far there. But I don't even know when I really started wrestling because, you know, I used to kick 7 shades of shit out with my friends on a trampoline. So when did I really start? You know, like I always say that my official singles debut was in April 2017. Because that was like the first time I wasn't not in like a training school, but I felt like a professional wrestler at that time, so I feel like that was my debut in April, which was for Infinite Promotions.
Yeah.
I look like a sack of shit. Lovely long style boots and some thigh-high socks, which are rolled down to my knee pads.
Things have changed for you, Cameron.
I look terrible now, but back then I looked awful. Like, awful.
So I want to go back to your training before we build into the debut, before we build into where you are now. Now you trained with the likes of Zack Gibson, who you've known for many, many years, James Drake as well, obviously the NXT guys. What was it like learning from those guys? Obviously, you know, with a Fighting Spirit school, they've built a legacy there already, and you were one of those guys that came through the ranks.
I'll even go back a bit further. I started training more intensely at Infinite, and I remember Zach was doing a seminar there, and the stuff that he taught us was just insane. And I just, in the back of my mind, I was like, I can't wait until he opens up a school. I genuinely can't wait until he opens up a school because I'll actually learn so much more. And when they finally did open up a school, I went on the second week, and I was pretty much constantly there for about a year or so. Like sometimes I'd have like not I'd even pull an all nighter sometimes and just get the Sunday session, just go to the Sunday session. But
Wow.
it genuinely it took me 2 hours on a bus to get there and then 2 hours back because that was the cheapest option.
Dedication.
Yeah, like it proper done me back in because the sessions would end around about like 9ish, and when I get the bus, it'd be like an hour, and I get another bus, which is another hour. So it like approached like dead late in the night, and I'm just tired, and I'm like lying there on a bus, and it's like killing me back. I'm like, oh god, dedication. Ah. But yeah, like the stuff that they teach is just next level, and because they've been signed and that we're getting knowledge from literally the best place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they would be. It's bizarre because I'll look at my stuff from when I was wrestling not before I was training there, but like near like the start of when I was training there, and I look at some stuff from like now, and I'm like, oh, I was dead shit back then. And I think without their help, I wouldn't have gotten better. You know what I mean?
So what was your relationship like with Zack Gibson? Because I know you've known him for many, many years, longer than you have with James Drake. And it was at that time where you'd, obviously gone to seminars and you'd spoke to him, seen him quite a few times, and then obviously gone to Fighting Spirit School. How did the relationship start? Where did it begin?
I don't actually remember. I actually don't remember. I just like the first time I met JD was at Fighting Spirit, but because Zach is from Liverpool.
Yeah,
you'll see him every so often in places. And I also knew about him before I met him. I think the first time I might have met him was at a promotion called Just Do, and that might have been like 2015, so like a year after I started bumping in the ring.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I didn't know him too well before Fighting Spirit. Like I'd had a few encounters with him. But apart from that, I pretty much just knew them from Fighting Spirit mainly.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously you've come out of that school now. You started your singles debut, as we said, April 2017. That's when you felt like you could call yourself a professional wrestler,
Yeah.
rather than kicking seven shades of shit out of your friends and family. So who was that match against? Obviously, you said it was a Infinite, but can you remember who that match was against?
Yes and no. I know it was against Eccentrico, but he wasn't called Eccentrico.
Oh, right, okay.
Because I don't know what his name was, but he has a different name at Infinite Promotions, and it was one of them names where I was like, that's just a bunch of letters to me. So like, my memory is the worst memory ever. And if someone told me like the name he had, I'll be like, oh yeah, I get it. But yeah, it's just known as Eccentrical to me. But I had my first match with him. I was absolutely shitting myself, and the backstage was like 2 miles away from the ring. So you pretty much was trying to get ready to go to the ring halfway through like the match before, and to get a message across to like any like the promoter or the music guy or whatever, there was like a messenger. Like obviously like most wrestling shows there's like some sort of messenger, but this guy, you tell him something and he'd be gone for 2 minutes, do something, and it's like he'd come back after 2 minutes. Like so it'd take like 5 minutes for him to do anything, and it was just the worst ever because the backstage is so far away from the ring. But it was honestly a great show. I enjoyed it, and I just knew for a fact how bad I was in the ring. Like as soon as it happened.
Do you look back at that now and go, "Oh my god, look how much I've learned"? So
I felt like I knew nothing. Like I genuinely felt like I knew nothing. It's like a deer in the headlights kind of look. I was just in the ring and I'm just going, like, keep fundamentals. What do I need to do? All right, I'll do this. I'll do that. One of them situations. But now I'm like, when I'm in the ring, I can just click like that on a situation. Like, if something arises, I'll just work with it, sort of thing.
In 2018, it did get, that's where you started to get noticed a lot more.
Started picking up midway through 2018.
Yeah, so you formed a tag team with a very close friend, Craig West.
That happened by accident. That actually happened by accident.
Tell us the story.
You want to know the story about that? Okay. Yeah. It's not like an amazingly fun, bizarre story. It just happened story where for some unknown reason, promoters just wanted to keep teaming me and Craig together. Don't know how or why, but it just happened. And when we teamed together, it worked.
Yeah.
It just worked. Because me and Craig are similar but different at the same time. Like, I'm all gothy, I've got the black hair and all that crap, but he's not. But we're a bunch of grungy, tattooed blokes, and we just like to have fun. We don't take anything too serious. We know when to have fun, and when we're in the ring, we somehow gel together. And also, it come across where we'd be feuding with each other all the time at like billion promotions. I swear there's about 7 matches of me and Craig facing each other online. And it kind of escalated from that as well, where we'd like casually team in places and then we'd feud in places. And it got to the point where we just feud that much. We were just like, oh, we're just going to hit each other and just have fun now. And once it got into that rhythm, we just started respecting each other in the ring. And it became impossible to hate each other because that's what made us a legitimate tag team. And now that's why we've rolled with Dead Sick, which I think is an amazing name to describe us.
Well, you actually, Dead Sick actually got the match of the year in 2018, didn't you, at PWI, and that was against the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Yeah, it was, the promotion was Britannia Wrestling Promotions. But they have this PWI thing. I don't quite understand it too much, but yeah, that was deemed match of the year. And when I look back at it, I kind of question why. Like, it was a good match. The crowd were into it, but I look at that match now, and I look at that match if I wanted to do it again, I'd be like, that match could have been so much better. But that was around about the time where I was picking things up, because it was in 2018 where I started picking things. It was only I think it was in October of 2018, and that was like just a year and a bit past my debut. So if that match were to happen now, you can kind of see how it would be better, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So what were your thoughts going into that match? Obviously you're facing, two people that have trained you up. They've just been signed by WWE. This must have been a huge opportunity for you. Were you nervous, apprehensive? What was the feelings going into it?
For some unknown reason, in fact, no, not an unknown reason, it's blatantly obvious. Like, anytime I'm in a match with like high stakes or high profile, I'm shitting it. Like, genuinely. And when the match was happening, we had very little time to prepare. Like, I'm trying to prepare for the match, and the first match is already done. We're on third, and I think the second match went like 5 or 6 minutes, and I'm like pulling my hair out, like behind. Oh God, what am I doing? Oh God, what am I doing? And I was just, do you know when you're shaking, you're that nervous, sort of thing, but you're trying to hide it. And I'm thinking, I'm in the ring with two like very experienced performers. It's not gonna feck up at all. But you have the doubt where you think yourself, you're just gonna cock every little bit up, and because they're your trainers, you have to question: are they gonna look down on me if I do bad? you know. But the match was good. It wasn't the best. It wasn't like 5-star or anything, but it was a decent, solid match, and the crowd loved it, and the promotion must have loved it because they gave it match of the year in that year. So.
Oh man, what a title to hold though, to be able to be Chrome Match of the Year with two of your trainers who have just been signed to WWE that you know very well, and then you're doing this pretty much as you've just started out yourself.
Yeah.
It must have been a huge euphoria. Such a great feeling.
Oh yeah, it was an amazing feeling. After it, I was buzzing, but after it, I'd do something else because I was on pretty much the entire card. Like it was one of them shows. It's one of them shows where, like, do you know when you're in a faction, you're always got to keep going out.
Yeah.
So that you're wondering what's happening. You go to the guy, like the head of the faction, and what's happening? Tell me quick. Are we going out? Am I following you? Okay, let's go. And considering I've been in 5 factions, that constantly happens to me, and it's gotten to the point where I'm just like, yeah, what are we doing? Okay, see you out there. Bang, go, let's go. We gotta go. Is this your music or my music? Okay. So it's very last minute all the time.
So, do you prefer being in factions, a tag team,
No, I do not like factions at all in the slightest. I hate factions. I am done with factions. If anyone wants to put me in a faction, no, go away. I do not like factions. I do, however, like teaming with Prey because it separates being that singles wrestler sometimes. Because when you're constantly a singles wrestler or constantly a tag team wrestler, you don't get that balance. Where if you get thrown into a tag team and you're a singles wrestler, it's kind of a bit muffled, and vice versa. But if you get a good mix of the both, because a tag match and a singles match is completely different to each other. It's like a ladder match. It's like comparing a singles match to a ladder match. They are two different types of matches entirely, and you wrestle completely different. So having a mix of the two, where you're a singles wrestler and a tag team wrestler, it's just amazing.
Well, let's talk about you as a singles competitor at the moment, because as we said earlier, you were just building up steam, you were building momentum, especially at the likes of TNT, obviously Wrestle Island as well. Recently with TNT Extreme Wrestling, you captured Briefcase, which will be getting you a TNT Ignition Championship opportunity against Sonny Durson. Is this where we start hearing more about Kameron Solas, the hottest prospect in British wrestling in the North? Of course, at the moment, it's only going to get better, and I assume you want to be going full UK worldwide eventually.
I should hope so. A lot of people have said that the Northwest is one of the hardest places to grow in the UK. Obviously, my opinion is going to be biased if I say it is, but not many people have actually grown out of the Northwest, where a lot of people can grow elsewhere easier. And I don't know why. I don't know what it is. But the fact that TNT is a thing makes it easier, especially when they have 2 brands.
Yeah.
Because you'll have you have the I'm not going to say big brand, but you have the big names brand where they're bringing all these imports in, and shows that people that you won't normally see on the UK scene. Yeah, and Ignition is the local show where you will get people, like most of the roster will be from the Northwest in general, and you'll get the odd 2 names sort of thing, which I really enjoy, because the last show that they did, which was pretty much a week before lockdown, was probably one of the best Ignition shows that they did.
Yeah, it was so phenomenal. The card was amazing.
It was just an amazing show. I'm sat there like, wow, like the star power and the way that they've built it and the fact that they've used more local talents, a lot of guys can get more opportunities now. People that couldn't get opportunities prior to that. So
Yeah.
that helps them in that aspect. And because I've got that briefcase now, I'm held in a higher value because I could just cash in and essentially have the title for that brand.
I want to kind of delve into more about yourself as a performer. Obviously, you're currently, going through, conquering, growing your personality and character across the Northwest scene. Are there, where would Kameron Solas like to wrestle in the world? Is Japan or Mexico ever appealed to you? America, obviously. Is there anywhere in the world specifically that you would love to go and explore as a wrestler?
Oh, I wouldn't know specifically, but I just know for a fact I'd like to experience every type sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to Japan at some point. I'd love to go to the E at some point. I'd love to go to America at some point. Mexico, Germany. There's a lot of places I actually do want to go, and because I'm quite versatile the way I wrestle. I can wrestle any way. If I'm in the ring with a big guy, I'll wrestle a certain way. If I'm in the ring with a quick guy, I'll wrestle a certain way. So with these different styles, where it's Japan, Germany, and Mexico, I can hopefully find it easier to adapt to their styles because of the way I wrestle.
Yeah, no, completely. And whilst you've been having this time off, have you been reinventing? Have you been thinking about what you can do to come back?
Definitely, yeah.
I had a conversation with Alexis Falcon only a few days ago, and she's got new gear design. She's come up with a new finisher and everything. So it's like, okay, so I assume there's a lot of this going on in the industry. Have you been doing similar things yourself?
Definitely. For some unknown reason, I don't feel like myself in the ring sometimes. I feel very bland. For someone that looks like me with the mad hair and the way I wrestle, I feel very bland sometimes, and I want to get out of that and be more, not charismatic, but larger than life sort of thing.
I think you come across as very charismatic and very energetic. When we've done backstage interviews and things like that, you always seem very larger than life. And in the ring as well, you're very talented.
Like that, the interviews we've done has been very recent, so I think that was when it started clicking in my brain more.
Yeah.
So I'd use those opportunities because I love those interviews. I love doing stuff like that because I actually get to speak to the camera. I actually get to talk, which is like, you can't do that.
No.
It's so hard when you want to say stuff and you're not given the opportunity to, which actually wound me up so much because I had to do a lot of stuff at the last Ignition show. I had to do I think it's like the VIP pictures. I had to do that.
Yeah.
Then I had to get changed. Then I'm told, get on the mic. So I'm accepting the briefcase. So obviously they give me the mic. I'm like, oh, well, I'll just wing it. and I know I'm having a match with Craig straight after. So within the space of it was in the space of the fans line up for the VIP to the finishing bell of me and Craig. I had to do all that, and then I come backstage and then have the interview with you. And I'm just trying to wing it as much as I possibly can.
You pulled it off though, mate. I mean, you cut a great promo. You cut a great promo in the ring, and then you had a great match with Craig. And then you came back and you absolutely nailed this interview. Like, it's the best I think I've seen you on a mic. So you can
very much appreciate it.
You can tell that it's all clicking with you. You're definitely improving every time I see you. So with that in mind, what are you doing at the moment to kind of go, right, when I come back, I'm looking to do this, improve on this. This is how I'm going to do it.
The thing that I struggle with the most, I believe, is the fact that I'm not more myself in the ring, which I'm now getting that extra in, because when I do the interviews with you, it helps me become more of myself. Because people are these characters sometimes, but I'm a character in general, so I want to just be myself, because I know for a fact I'm weird. I know for a fact I'm bizarre, and I do stupid things, and sometimes I don't show that as much as I should. So
Yeah.
the more I be myself, which is quite hard. It's actually very hard to do in wrestling, because when the red light blinks, you try and get in this character, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna and all that. But it's hard to actually break that completely and just talk from the heart, and just not use your brain as much. Just say what you want, sort of thing, and have that filter gone. Because anytime I'm speaking, I'll just say it as it is. Whatever's in my head, I'll just say it. I'll as long as I don't swear or say something far out of line, then I'm fine. So that's how I see it.
Well, you always look like you enjoy those interviews, so we'll definitely be doing more of those, mate.
I absolutely love them.
Talk to me about what you've been doing with yourself. Obviously, being forced away from wrestling at the moment. I have noticed you've been doing a lot of home workouts. I can also see behind you that you've got a monster gaming collection.
I don't know how many I've actually got. I think I've got over 1,500. The weights, right? I got so lucky because I had them before lockdown ever happened, and now you just can't buy weights. Like, you try and buy weights, you best have 4 figures in your bank to buy a proper set.
Yeah,
because I bought that dirt cheap, and now I could probably get 4 or 5 times the money back. And obviously I'm not, because I want to work out. You know, we're athletes apparently, so let's be athletes.
Yeah, unfortunately, my gym workouts, I've just binged, mate, on so much shit. I've gone from going to the gym 5 days a week to just eating shit 5 days a week.
Don't worry. Like, I've been doing that. I've worked out twice this week. Besides that, I've just been drinking booze. I've not been eating that bad, but I've just been drinking a lot. but then again, who wouldn't?
Yeah,
there's nothing else to do.
No.
Besides all these games, you still got to drink.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. So, apart from doing the gym workouts, playing games. Before this went live, I noticed that you're on your PS4 downloading Farming Simulator.
Yeah, man. It's the only thing that's on PSN. Why have they put it on? Like, genuinely, why have they put it on?
Giving you a free game to play, mate. Do you not want to sow some seeds? Build up a farm.
You know what? I've been playing Ratchet and Clank recently, and I've got the HD collection on PS3. Like, I just play that. Like, that's fun.
Yeah, so much.
I don't want to plant seeds. Like, despite the fact I've just bought Stardew Valley. Like, I want to play Ratchet and Clank and feckin' Farm Simulator. I don't even care if it's free. I'm not even giving it a chance. I might do. Oh.
Yeah, I'll give you a little insider. I actually worked on that game back in before it launched. So enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. Plant some seeds.
What did you what part did you work
on? So I was the community manager, and so when you see like the likes of assets, trailers, screenshots come on social and stuff like that, I was the guy that did that.
Oh, that's amazing. So I hate it when games release trailers, right? That doesn't actually feature any of the gameplay.
Game. Yeah.
What is that about? It's a
CGI,
game.
man. CGI. They want
I
you to see the
just
beauty of it first.
don't understand. It's this AAA mentality where it's like, look at this, all these graphics. Like they're not even running it on a console. They're running it on a PC worth like 20 grand.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt.
and then you've got the job of trying to sell that.
Yeah.
You're like,
Pretty much.
look at this trailer. So it's
yeah.
never.
That's...
I've noticed that anytime people make games, it's never the guys making the games' fault or anyone trying to like sell it. It's always the people that are funding it that is the issue. Just look at EA.
Oh yeah,
Just
like
look at EA. Just look at EA.
I can't say what I want to say about EA on a podcast that gets broadcast everywhere. So
Like,
yeah, we'll have that conversation off camera. But Kameron Solas,
I'm always
I
saying
want
it was a love effect. I'm always saying it's a love effect. Like, I don't care about the FIFAs. They can pump them out all they want. They can do whatever with the microtransactions, but just leave Mass Effect alone. Stop.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I mean, I was having a conversation about this very recently with a friend that you look at their back catalogue, dude, some of the games that were in their back catalogue, absolute Dead Space, Crisis, like, you know, Def Jam, SSX, dude. Like,
What
SSX tricky, man.
They have the money.
Yeah.
They just don't give them enough time. They don't give like places enough time to make the games that they want.
No.
Because developers want to make the game.
Oh, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
When you're trying to release deadlines and stuff like that, they're just going to rush it. Because what was the game? Not Destiny, but the one that was like Destiny made by EA.
Oh, Anthem.
Yeah, you could just tell there was just two different sides of that game. There was the side that wanted to make a Mass Effect game, and then there was the side that wanted to make a Destiny game.
Yeah,
and you can tell something went on there.
Yeah, nothing. Neither of either of those sides kind of met in the middle. Like...
No, they just made two games into one game.
yeah, pretty much. Kameron Solas, this has been so much fun. I'm so glad we finally got around to doing this. You know, I know we spoke like I don't know, about 2 months ago about this, and then finally,
I'm just the worst
we've
person to make plans with.
But I am looking forward to seeing where Kameron Solas goes next. I think you're one of the brightest young talents to come out of the Northwest, and I can't wait to catch up with you at shows, do some more interviews, and just, you know, give that platform where, you know, we can let people know who Kameron Solas is.
I've loved this, you know.
We'll definitely do it again.
I'll definitely do it again.
But yeah, thanks for joining me, dude, and take care. I look forward to speaking with you soon.
Cheers, bro.